Hi guys, it's Sandy from Crafty Stamp Co. And I have a card today with one of the stamp sets that comes in the new November 2025 Crafty Crew Kit. This particular kit is available for pre-order from October 1st through the 15th. It is scheduled to ship on November 5th. There are two ways to purchase this kit. One as a non-subscriber, which gives you a 15% discount off the retail price and includes shipping. That's $54.99. Or a bi-monthly subscription, which gives you 35% discount off the retail prices. Shipping is included. You also get an embellishment and a 10% discount code for non-subscription orders. That is $45.99. In this kit, you get a paper pack. It's 6x6 pattern paper. You get 2 stamp sets, and you also get a stencil. So go on over to craftystampco.com and check it out. In the meantime, let's get started on this card. This stamp set is called Fall Weather Meadow, and it is just as cute as can be. She's sitting there with her little sweater and her leggings and her little fluffy socks, enjoying a cup of, I don't know, maybe tea or hot chocolate. She also has some books included in the stamp set, so she could be reading or she just could be contemplating a fall and how wonderful it is. I am going to start off by coloring her sweater. Now, I've chosen my colors based on the pattern paper that comes with the kit. And I liked the kind of tealy color that was included on some of the papers. Some of it was berries, other of it were like saucers from coffee cups. So I am actually using Copic markers. The colors I'm using are BG72, which is my lightest color, BG75, and BG78. I always start lightest, and I pretty much color in the whole area with my lightest color, and then I start going back in with my medium and darker color. And for me, that just helps me get a nice blending of colors. I don't feel like I get the harsh lines if I'm just trying to go from one color into the next color. I also use Express Blend It card, and that's what I've been using for a number of years for my Copic coloring. I do use other papers, but this is by far my favorite. I love the rust color that comes on the pattern paper in this set, so I'm going to do her leggings in a rust color. For this color, I am using E08, E09, and E019. And again, I'm working from lightest to darkest and placing my lightest color over the full surface area first to help me get a nice smooth blend. For her little socks and her hair ribbons, I am using kind of a dusty purple blend. That color is not really in any of the pattern paper, but I liked it, and it still kind of fit in that color category. So the colors that I'm using for that are BV23, that's my lightest, BV34, my medium, and BV25 for my dark color. I did her mug with a bluish color. I also did her eyes that same color. There is a little bit of a bluish hint of color, maybe. I don't know if it's a hint of color, but it's also another color that really blended in well with the pattern paper. So for this one, I am using B52 as my light color, B93 as my medium, and B95 as my darkest color. I do want to mention that in this stamp set, there are 3 little individual stamps that you can also stamp and cut out. And they're little things that you could put in her mug. So there's one that's like a little cluster of marshmallows. There's another one that's kind of like a whipped cream. And another one where it's kind of like spilling over the sides of the cup. So that makes her cup kind of versatile, kind of fun. For her hair, I wanted it to be kind of a golden blondish color, something that would kind of tie in with all of those pumpkin colors and the fall leaves. So I decided I would go ahead and use E50 is my very lightest color, E51, E53, and E33. And I don't have a whole lot of experience coloring such large areas of hair. Most of my coloring has been really small little people and little pieces of hair. So I thought it would be easiest if I just kind of split up her hair into maybe 3 or 4 parts, and I started with the center. And I just went ahead and laid in my lightest color, and then I just started flicking up my other 3 colors up from the bottom where her bangs are, and then down from the crown of the head. And then I just kind of went as far as on the side pieces. I just kind of followed the lines of the stamp and did my shading from there, still keeping it a little bit darker at the crown of the head and a little bit darker towards the bottom, but then also adding in that darker color to help give her the illusion of waves. Now that I've got the center and her right side done, I'll go ahead and finish up my left side and then move into working on the little buns. On those particular ones, I kept the darkest shading at the bottom of the bun and the lightest at the top. All we have left to color on her is her little face and hands. So I'm going to be using E000, that's my lightest color, E00, and I kind of do a little bit of shading under and around her eyes just to give them a little bit of depth. E11, which I concentrate up around the hairline and around the sides of the face. And then E93, which is kind of a like a peachy color or a rosy color, and I just kind of add a little bit of that pretty rosy color to her cheeks. I also do her little lips with that color. And then on her little hands, they're pretty small, so I don't try to put in all of those colors. I just want to give them a little bit of definition. So I probably just use 3 of the little colors just to give them a little bit of definition. Now that she's all colored up and looking just beautiful, it's time to finish the background of this card. So I have used the pattern paper that comes with the set, and I'm using a piece of rust paper, and that is the mottled look paper. I call it my blanket. My blanket print because it reminds me of a warm and cozy minky blanket. So I've got that piece cut at 5.5 by 4.25. And then I'm using that darling print that's got the pumpkins and the books as my next layer. And that's been cut to 4 inches by 5.25. And I'll just go ahead and adhere those together. Now, I am a liquid glue girl through and through. I just don't trust adhesive tapes. I've had cards fall apart, and I don't know if it's because of the dryness here in Colorado, but for the most part, I use liquid glue when I need to. I did do another layer on this card. I went to my stash and I had a bookmark die. You could also use a tag die or just a plain rectangular piece of paper. Punch a hole in the top and put in a little tassel. I happen just to have the die, so I used the brown blanket paper and I cut my die out. I did want to pop that up just a little bit, so I used a 1mm double-sided adhesive tape and I adhered that to my background. I use a sentiment that came with the set, or that comes with the set, that says, "Happiness is a hot mug on a chilly day." I think that was perfect because of her warm little sweater and leggings and slippers. That's what I decided to use. I stamped that on a piece of, it's not really a cream colored card stock, it's more of an off-white. I stamped it on that and then I trimmed it out with a scrap piece of the rust patterned paper. I went ahead and used the open book that also comes in the stamp set to place in front of her. And then I colored up a couple of the little leaves to put in that upper left-hand corner just to kind of balance things out. Once I had all of those pieces placed, then I wanted to adhere my little meadow to the center of my card. I just love everything about this card, from the pattern paper to those warm fall colors to Meadow's cute little leggings and her little sweater. It's just precious. Just to recap, this is the November 2025 Crafty Crew Kit. It does come with a 6x6 pattern paper pack with sleeve, 2 stamp sets. So it's got the Fall Weather Meadow, and then it has Mellow Marcia as the other stamp set. It also comes with a 6x6 stencil. Non-subscription price on it is $54.99, which is a 15% discount off of the retail prices and includes shipping. There is a bi-monthly subscription that offers a 35% discount off of the retail price. Shipping is included, embellishment is included, and a 10% discount for non-subscription orders, and that is $45.99. The pre-window for this set is October 1st through 15th, with shipping scheduled for the 5th of November. This is the only time you are going to be able to get these stamps, and I'm not sure, but maybe the pattern paper also. It will be available later, but it'll probably be anywhere between 6 to 12 months. So if you are just in love with the stamp set and the papers like I am, you might want to check out craftystampco.com and get your pre-order in. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope you have a fantastic fall. Bye-bye.